It was supposed to be a simple day in Barcelona. A 17-year-old football prodigy, Lamine Yamal, steps into a high-end watch store, hoping for a quiet shopping trip. But what happens next is a storm of prejudice, arrogance, and a lesson in dignity that shakes everyone to their core. A young star, underestimated because of his age and appearance, faces ridicule in front of a crowd. But his response? It changes everything. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into this unforgettable story. The sun bathes the streets of Barcelona in a golden glow. Tourists snap photos of Gaudí's architecture. Locals sip coffee at outdoor cafes, and the air hums with the vibrant energy of a city alive with culture. At the heart of Passeig de Gràcia, the city's luxury shopping district, stands an elegant watch store, its glass windows sparkling with displays of Rolexes, Patek Philippe's, and Audemars Piguet's. The store's name, Temps de Luxe, glows in sleek gold letters above the entrance, a beacon for the city's elite. Inside, the atmosphere is cool and polished. Crystal chandeliers cast soft light over mahogany counters, and the faint tick of luxury timepieces fills the air. The staff, dressed in crisp black uniforms, move with practiced grace, catering to wealthy clients who browse with an air of entitlement. It's a world where status is everything, and appearances are judged in seconds. Into this world steps Lamine Yamal, the 17-year-old star of FC Barcelona. He's dressed simply. A black hoodie, dark jeans, and well-worn Nike sneakers. His backpack, slung over one shoulder, looks like it's seen a few too many training sessions. His dark eyes scan the store with quiet curiosity, and his posture is relaxed but confident. Lamine isn't here to flaunt wealth, or fame. He's here to buy a watch, a small treat for himself after a grueling season. At just 17, he's already made history as one of La Liga's brightest talents, but today he's just a teenager with a dream. As he enters, the bell above the door chimes softly. A few customers glance up, then quickly return to their browsing. But one man, standing near a display of diamond-encrusted watches, lingers on Lamine a little longer. His name is Javier Ruiz, a wealthy real estate tycoon in his late 40s, dressed in a tailored suit that screams money. His wrist glints with a gold Rolex, and his eyes narrow as he takes in Lamine's casual appearance. "What's a kid like that doing here?" he mutters to himself, loud enough for the woman beside him, a stylish socialite named Claudiato, here. She smirks but says nothing. Lamine approaches a glass counter, his gaze settling on a sleek, minimalist watch with a black leather strap. He's not looking for flash. He wants something timeless, something that feels like him. A saleswoman, Sophia, approaches. She's in her 30s, with sharp features and a professional smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. "Can I help you?" she asks, her tone polite but tinged with skepticism. "I'd like to see that one," Lamine says, pointing to the watch. His voice is soft, unassuming, but there's a quiet confidence in it. Sophia hesitates, her eyes flicking over his hoodie and sneakers. "That's a Patek Philippe," she says, her voice clipped. "It's quite exclusive. Perhaps you'd like to see something more affordable." Lamine tilts his head unfazed. "I'd like to see that one," he repeats, his tone steady. Sophia's smile tightens, but she nods and unlocks the case, pulling out the watch with a touch of reluctance. Javier, watching from a few feet away, can't hold back. He steps closer, his polished shoes clicking on the marble floor. "Hey, kid," he says, his voice dripping with condescension. "You sure you're in the right store? There's a sports shop down the street that might suit you better." A few customers turn to look. Claudia stifles a laugh and Sophia glances between Lamine and Javier, unsure whether to intervene. Lamine meets Javier's gaze, his expression calm but unyielding. "I'm exactly where I want to be," he says simply. Javier chuckles, shaking his head. "Kids these days," he says to Claudia, "loud enough for everyone to hear. They think they can walk into a place like this and play pretend. What are you, 16? Go back to school, pequeño." The word stings, not because of its meaning, but because of the arrogance behind it. Lamine's jaw tightens slightly, but he doesn't respond. Instead, he turns back to Sophia. "Can you tell me more about this watch?" he asks, his voice steady. Sophia, caught off guard by his composure, begins to explain the watch's features, but her tone remains cold. "It's handcrafted, Swiss-made, with a perpetual calendar. It's priced at 45,000. She emphasizes the price, as if daring him to flinch. Lamine nods thoughtfully. "Sounds good. I'll take it." The room falls silent. Sophia blinks, her professional mask slipping for a moment. Javier lets out a loud, mocking laugh. "You'll take it?" he says, stepping closer. "Kid, do you even know what 45,000 looks like? That's more than your entire wardrobe, I bet." A small crowd begins to gather other customers, a second salesperson, even a security guard lingering near the door. The air grows thick with tension. Lamine remains calm, his hands resting lightly on the counter. "I know what it looks like," he says quietly. "I'd like to pay for it now." Javier's laughter fades into a sneer. "Oh, this is rich. Let me guess, you're going to pull out your mom's credit card? Or maybe you found some cash in the street." Sophia hesitates, glancing at Javier as if seeking his approval. "Sir," she says to Lamine, her voice now tinged with irritation, "we require verification for purchases of this amount. Do you have identification?" Lamine reaches into his backpack and pulls out his wallet, sliding his ID across the counter. Sophia picks it up, her eyes scanning it quickly. Her expression shifts slightly. She recognizes the name, but she's not sure why. "Lamine Yamal?" she says, almost to herself. Javier catches it and scoffs. "What kind of name is that? Sounds like you're trying too hard to fit in, kid." The comment lands like a slap. A few customers shift uncomfortably, sensing the line Javier has crossed. A woman in her 60s, dressed in an elegant coat, frowns and whispers to her companion, "That's uncalled for." Lamine's eyes darken, but his voice remains steady. "My name is mine," he says, "and I'm here to buy a watch, not to explain myself." Sophia, now visibly flustered, begins processing the purchase, but her movements are slow, deliberate, as if she's hoping Lamine will back down. Javier, emboldened by the attention, leans against the counter, his voice growing louder. "Look, kid, I'm just trying to help you out. Places like this aren't for people like you. You don't belong here. Go play football in the park or something." The word football catches Lamine's ear. He tilts his head slightly, a faint smile playing on his lips. "Football?" he says softly. "Maybe I do that too." Javier laughs again, missing the hint. "Yeah, sure. Probably kicking a ball around with your friends in some dusty alley. This isn't your playground, pequeño." The security guard, a burly man named Mateo, steps closer, his eyes flicking between Lamine and Javier. He's sensed the growing tension and is ready to intervene, but something about Lamine's calm demeanor keeps him at bay. A young woman in the crowd, holding a shopping bag from a nearby boutique, pulls out her phone and starts filming discreetly. She whispers to her friend, "This guy's being a jerk. I think that's Lamine Yamal." Her friend gasps softly, "The Barcelona player? No way." Sophia, now holding Lamine's credit card, pauses. This is a platinum card," she says, almost to herself. She looks up at Lamine, her skepticism giving way to confusion. "I'll need to verify this with the manager." Javier rolls his eyes. Oh, come on. You're actually entertaining this. He probably stole that card. Look at him, he's barely old enough to drive. Lamine's expression doesn't change, but his fingers tap lightly on the counter, a small sign of the frustration he's holding back. Verify it, he says calmly. I'll wait. The crowd murmurs. The older woman in the elegant coat steps forward, her voice firm. This is ridiculous. Let the young man make his purchase. He's done nothing wrong. Javier turns to her, his face reddening. Stay out of this, lady. I'm just calling it like I see it. This kid doesn't belong in a place like this. The woman doesn't back down. And who are you to decide who belongs? She asks, her tone sharp. You're embarrassing yourself. Javier's jaw tightens, but before he can respond, the store manager, a man named Antonio, emerges from the back office. He's in his 50s, with salt and pepper hair and a calm, authoritative presence. What's going on here? He asks, looking between Sofia, Lamine, and Javier. Sofia explains quickly, her voice nervous. This customer wants to purchase a 45-0 watch. I was verifying his card. Antonio takes the card and ID, glancing at Lamine. His eyes narrow slightly as he reads the name. Lamine Yamal, he says softly, then looks up. You're the footballer, aren't you? The room goes quiet. Javier's smirk falters. Claudia, standing beside him, raises an eyebrow. Footballer? She says, her tone uncertain. Lamine nods, his voice steady. Yes, sir. I play for Barcelona. A murmur ripples through the crowd. The young woman filming gasps, her phone still recording. I knew it, she whispers to her friend. Javier laughs nervously, trying to regain control. Barcelona? Come on, you're telling me this kid is some big-shot athlete? He looks like he's here to clean the floors. Antonio's eyes flash with disapproval. Mr. Ruiz, he says, recognizing Javier as a regular customer, I suggest you watch your words. This young man is a valued customer, just like you. Javier scoffs, but there's a hint of unease in his eyes. Valued? He's a kid. What's he doing with a platinum card? Probably some publicity stunt. Lamine remains silent, his gaze fixed on Antonio. The manager swipes the card through a reader, and a soft beep confirms the transaction. The payment is approved, Antonio says, handing the card back to Lamine. Would you like the watch gift wrapped, Mr. Yamal? Lamine shakes his head. No, thank you. Just the watch is fine. The crowd is buzzing now, whispers spreading like wildfire. That's Lamine Yamal, someone says. The kid who scored against Real Madrid. Another adds, He's only 17, can you believe it? Javier's face pales. He takes a step back, his confidence crumbling. This is a mistake, he stammers. There's no way he's... Antonio turns to Javier, his voice calm but firm. Mr. Ruiz, I think you owe this young man an apology. Javier's eyes dart around the room. The crowd is watching, some with disapproval, others with curiosity. The young woman filming zooms in, capturing every moment. Javier's lips press into a thin line, but he doesn't speak. Lamine, still holding the boxed watch, finally breaks his silence. His voice is quiet, but carries a weight that silences the room. You don't know me, he says to Javier. You looked at my clothes, my age, my skin, and decided I didn't belong. But I'm not here to prove anything to you. I'm here because I earned my place, just like you think you earned yours. The words hang in the air, sharp and undeniable. The older woman in the coat nods approvingly. The young woman filming whispers, That's powerful. Javier opens his mouth, but no words come out. For the first time, he looks small, exposed. Claudia, sensing the shift, steps away from him, her expression uncomfortable. Lamine continues, his voice steady but kind. I'm 17, but I've faced people like you my whole life. People who think I'm too young, too different, too something. But I don't let that define me, and I won't let you define me either." The room is silent. Even Sophia, who had been skeptical, looks down, her cheeks flushed with shame. Antonio steps forward, placing a hand on Lamine's shoulder. "Mr. Yamal, I apologize for any discomfort you've experienced. This store values all its customers, and will ensure this doesn't happen again." Lamine nods. "Thank you. I just wanted to buy a watch." The simplicity of his words hits hard. The crowd murmurs in agreement, and a few people clap softly, not out of spectacle, but out of respect. Javier, now isolated, mutters, "I didn't mean anything by it," and turns to leave, his head low. As Lamine walks toward the door, the young woman filming stops him. "Mr. Yamal, can I just say you're an inspiration? The way you handled that. Wow." Lamine smiles, a genuine boyish grin. "Thanks, just trying to be me." The video of the incident spreads like wildfire. By the time Lamine steps onto the street, clips are already trending on social media. "Lamine Yamal shuts down prejudice in luxury store," reads one caption. Another post, with millions of views, says, "This 17-year-old taught a grown man a lesson in respect." Back in the store, Antonio calls Sophia and the security guard into his office. "This cannot happen again," he says firmly. "We treat every customer with respect, no matter who they are." Sophia nods, her face pale. She knows her job is on the line. Javier, meanwhile, retreats to his car, his phone buzzing with notifications. Friends, colleagues, even strangers are calling him out. "You messed with the wrong kid," one message reads. His arrogance has cost him more than he could have imagined. His reputation is in tatters. That evening, Lamine sits in his apartment, the watch resting on his table. He doesn't put it on right away. Instead, he pulls out his phone and texts his mom. "Bought something nice today, but I think I learned something even better." The next day, Lamine attends a press conference before a Barcelona match. The media is buzzing, not just about his performance on the pitch, but about Swendo system, about the incident at the watch store. A reporter asks, "Mr. Yamal, can you tell us about what happened at Temps Deluxe?" Lamine, dressed in his Barcelona training kit, hesitates. He's not one for drama, but the question hangs in the air. "It was a misunderstanding," he says calmly. "Some people judged me before knowing me. I handled it, and we moved on." The reporter presses, "But the video, it's gone viral. People are calling you a hero for how you responded." Lamine's eyes soften. "I'm no hero. I just believe everyone deserves respect, no matter how young they are or where they're from. That's all." The room erupts in applause. His teammates pat him on the back, and the coach nods approvingly. Lamine's words, simple yet profound, echo across the world. The story spreads beyond Barcelona. News outlets pick it up, and pundits praise Lamine's composure. "A teenager teaching adults about dignity," one headline reads. On social media, fans post tributes. Lamine Yamal is more than a footballer, he's a role model. Javier, now facing public backlash, issues a half-hearted apology online. "I misspoke and regret any offense caused," he writes, "but the damage is done." His business partners distance themselves, and his social circle shrinks. Sophia, reflecting on her role, volunteers at a youth center in Barcelona, teaching kids about self-worth. She writes a letter to Lamine apologizing for her initial skepticism. "You showed me what true class looks like," she writes. "I'm learning." Lamine, back on the pitch, continues to shine. But off the field, his quiet strength becomes a global lesson. Schools in Spain start using the Temps Deluxe incident in classes about respect. Companies revise their customer service training. And Lamine's words, "I'm not here to prove anything to you. I'm here because I earned my place," become a mantra for those fighting prejudice. Lamine Yamal didn't just buy a watch that day. He bought a moment that changed hearts and minds. At just 17, he showed the world that true power lies in staying true to yourself, no matter what others think. What did you think of this story? Drop a comment below, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button for more stories of courage and resilience. Let's make the world a place where respect comes first.